Disney World's employees, aka cast members, have to follow a specific set of rules while on the job, just like any other gig. But these rules aren't your average rules. In fact, some of them even impact you. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Vlog. So Disney World wouldn't be what it is today without its cast members, and boy, is Disney full of them. You got full-time, part-time, Disney college program students, cultural representatives, so many cast members, and each one is expected to follow a strict set of rules. So we're walking around in a cast member's shoes today to see what it's like to work at the most magical place on Earth, while also showing you how cast member policies might directly affect your next trip. Rule number 1, don't accidentally create a multiverse. Several cast member rules have a lot to do with costumes, aka their work-assigned uniforms. It makes sense. After all, Disney is a very immersive park, and since the cast members are a huge part of the overall immersiveness, the uniforms and costumes are just as big a part of Disney World storytelling as the rides and the restaurants and the architecture. Each area has different assigned costumes. In Magic Kingdom alone, you've got bow ties, straw hats, pastel aprons on Main Street USA, royal purple hues with golden trim around them on Fantasyland, dark green and black striped attire at Haunted Mansion, as well as bat headpieces. Try asking one of those cast members of the mansion what their bat's name is. Each one has its own identity and personality. And each costume tells a story, but this isn't a crossover episode, and we're definitely not creating any multiverses here. We'll leave that to the Marvel Cinematic Universe to untangle. So costumes need to stay in their respective areas. This is a rule that Walt Disney himself decided on back in the early days of Disneyland, since he felt it was weird to see Frontierland cast members dressed up in their 1800s Wild West garb, moseying on through the futuristic-inspired Tomorrowland. So how is this illusion kept intact for a cast member who's stationed in the back of one of the parks? In Magic Kingdom, you've got those underground utilidors helping cast members prevent those accidental crossovers. The utilidors are a winding tunnel system that actually goes right underneath Magic Kingdom and Cinderella Castle. Wildly enough, when you're in Magic Kingdom, you're actually on the second floor of the park, not the first. Only cast members are allowed to use the utilidors. However, if you book a Keys to the Kingdom tour for your Magic Kingdom day, you'll get to join a 5-hour walking guided experience that offers behind-the-scenes access to some of Disney World's most hidden areas, including the utilidors. The Keys to the Kingdom tour costs around $149 to $169 per guest, and that is on top of your regular day park ticket, so this is an expensive tour for sure, but it's super unique if you want to shake up your typical Disney World vacation. Plus, lunch is provided during the experience, and you'll receive a commemorative gift as well. Now hold on there, AJ. Magic Kingdom has an underground tunnel route, sure, but what about the other parks that don't have an intricate utilidor service? How do the cast members get to their stations all sneaky-like without breaking your suspension of disbelief? Without breaking the immersion? Well, every single park has a series of backstage areas, and while these areas allow cast members to get changed and ready for their next shift, they also give them a place super close to their station to take a break and eat lunch, have a quick water cooler chat, or anything else that they want to do without breaking the magic while they're on stage, otherwise known as being inside the park and working. Some backstage access points are more hidden than others, but even if you do see one of these areas during your next visit, do not attempt to go backstage for any reason. Disney has super strict rules about this for guests, not just because they want to keep others from breaking the magic, but because they want to keep you and their fellow cast members safe. So respect those boundaries if you don't want to potentially be kicked out of the parks altogether. That would be rough. Rule number 2, don't create a multiverse, part 2. So costume crossovers aren't just a major no-no inside the parks. As a cast member, you can't be wearing your costume or any costume pieces anywhere else other than their assigned Disney park area. And by anywhere, Disney means anywhere. Not the resorts, not Disney Springs, not to make a quick grocery run outside of the Disney bubble, none of that. Now, one of our DFB website writers told us about her personal experience accidentally breaking this important Disney rule back in her Disney college program days. I'll link the entire story down in the description just in case you want her side of things, but in a nutshell, let's just say she might have swung by Coronado Springs to check on her family's upcoming reservation, and she may have still been wearing the iconic Haunted Mansion green skirt to do so. Whoops! Even though she wasn't wearing the whole ensemble, she was still definitely given a talking to for her little fashion faux pas, and she absolutely learned her lesson after that. Along with not wearing any costume pieces out in the wild, cast members also can't be sporting their blue ID out in public public either. A blue ID is basically a cast member's work badge that they need to keep on their person at all times while on the clock. But once the clock strikes time to go home, these key cast member identifiers need to be tucked away, out of sight, out of mind. This goes for those cute name tags too that you'll see cast members wearing on their shirts, which also indicates information about where they're from. Fun fact about those, they're not always telling guests the truth about the cast member you're speaking to. If a cast member forgets their name tag at home, again, these things happen, nobody's perfect, then that cast member will be given a temporary one that says something like Chris from Orlando, regardless of their gender, or another name tag that they can briefly use for the day. Rule number 3, express yourself within reason. So Disney used to be a lot more strict when it came to how cast members wore their hair and earrings and tattoos. It's called the Disney look. And even though the rules changed back in 2021 to make things a bit more lenient so cast members could show off more of their preferences and personalities, the Disney lookbook is still a big deal for the company. Beyond making sure those costumes are kept in tip-top shape, cast members must make sure that their outward appearance doesn't pull guests out of the immersion too much. For example, earrings. Great, fine. Cute little ghosties on your ears at Haunted Mansion or little star studs at Galaxy's Edge. A-okay. But modifications like tongue piercings, tongue splittings, tooth filings, or earlobe stretchings are not allowed. Back in the day, cast members weren't allowed to have any tattoos visible while working. Nowadays, however, cast members can display their body art within certain limitations. CMs are still not allowed to have tattoos on their face or head or neck, but they are allowed tattoos in other visible places as long as the tattoo is no longer than the cast member's hand and is family friendly. When it comes to nails, Disney wants cast members keeping those short. Nails cannot exceed 1/4 of an inch beyond the fingertip. And if a cast member wishes to paint their nails, they must use the same solid color on each nail or have a French manicure style. No decals, no charms, no bright neon colors. And lastly, when it comes to hair, while cast members can choose whatever length hair they want, if they want to change the color, the hair still needs to be a hue that's naturally occurring. So no blues or greens, pinks, purples, rainbow stripes, none of that. That said, cast members can still shave lines and shapes into their hair just as long as the design is not offensive or against company policy. Okay, future guests, now it's your turn. While you're more than welcome to pretty much wear whatever hairstyle and jewelry piece you want to as a guest, that doesn't mean that every guest ensemble gets the green light from Disney. Clothing that has inappropriate imagery or words and clothing that doesn't cover up quite enough of you may be deemed not okay for the theme parks. Disney theme park dress codes that you can find on the website explain that all attire should be acceptable for a family environment, and it's up to the cast members to determine when you might need to change your shirt or potentially cover up a not so family friendly tattoo before entering the parks. So one of the coolest perks about being a cast member are those free theme park tickets that you'll have access to. Not only do these guys get a main entrance pass, but they'll also receive a limited number of guest passes for their friends and family members. So what's this catch we're talking about? Well, main entrance passes don't automatically mean free park access every single day. Similar to what an annual pass holder experiences, main entrance pass holders might be blocked out of certain parks on select weekends or certain days when Disney's predicting high crowd levels. For instance, Magic Kingdom might be blocked off for most of March for cast members because of spring break season. Along with blockout dates, cast members still also need to make park pass reservations for the days they plan on popping into the parks to play. In case you missed the season of park pass drama in Disney World, let me give you a SparkNotes version. After COVID, Disney required all guests to make park pass reservations for each of their park days, which was like the Disney park equivalent of seat saving on the bus. If you didn't save your spot after you purchased a ticket, or all the park passes were taken before you had the chance to snag one for yourself, you either had to wait for potentially more park passes to be released later on, or just accept your fate and not go in the park that day. Starting January 9th, 2024, park pass reservations were no longer required for standard Disney guests using date-based tickets, and we all celebrated. However, they continue to be a thing for people without date-based tickets, meaning people like cast members and annual pass holders and other non-date-based ticket holders too. Park pass reservations aren't difficult to make, but cast members and annual pass holders just have to remember to make them ahead of time on the My Disney Experience app or on the Disney World website. The only times that these pass holders aren't required to make reservations ahead of time are A, when you're visiting the parks after 2 p.m., unless it's Magic Kingdom on the weekend, B, when you're park hopping to your next park of the day, or C, if it's a good to go day and reservations aren't required whatsoever, which commonly happens around Disney's non-peak travel seasons. Rule number 5, there's an alcohol sales limit. Now, I don't care if Aunt Susan wants to try all 4 alcoholic beverages from the Epcot Festival food booth she's at. there is a limit to how much alcohol can be purchased by one single person at a time in Disney World. Cast members are trained to limit guests to no more than 2 alcoholic beverages per transaction at quick service locations, and this often includes Epcot Festival booths too. Sorry, Aunt Susan. Of course, drink flights are a slight exception to this rule. You can buy up to 2 flights that come with 3 to 4 drinks each, but those pours are usually pretty small, so Disney's not too worried about those being a huge issue for guests. So why has this 2-drink policy been put in place? One word: safety. This cast member policy helps to deter guests from overindulging on drinks all at once, as well as limits the ability of guests to buy drinks for other people using their own ID. Cast members are also trained to refuse drinks to guests who already appear intoxicated, regardless of whether they're at a quick service or a table service location. If your party splits up to get items from different festival booths, remember this rule, because you won't be able to grab drinks for a party of 3 or more. Here's the thing, you're not going to want to buy more than 2 drinks at a single Epcot pavilion anyway, because there are so many different options to try around the World Showcase. And if you want to find the single best drinks, in our opinion, around Epcot, and you want a nifty DFB map to help you track down all of them, go ahead and scan the QR code you see on the screen now, or if you're watching this on your phone, head to disneyfoodblog.com/worlddrinks. After this, we're going to send you our free Drinking Around the World guide straight to your email. And as always, make the cast members' lives easier, and yours too, by drinking responsibly. Rule number 6, if you're sick, do not go to the parks. Disney does not want cast members going to the parks while they're sick. Disney wants their cast members to rest and not expose other guests or cast members to something that's potentially contagious. However, Disney also doesn't want cast members playing hooky for a free park day. So if a cast member is calling in sick, they absolutely cannot be seen in the parks, like over at the Cheeseburger Spring Roll Cart in Magic Kingdom, getting ready to book a lightning lane for Jungle Cruise. If a cast member is caught in the parks during a sick day, they'll automatically be terminated from the company. Yep, it's that serious and not worth the risk. But hold on there a minute. Disney also doesn't want you going to the parks while you're sick either. No, Disney's not going to kick you out of the park if you decide to go while you're sick. At least they won't anymore. However, you'll be doing everyone a major disservice, including yourself, if you pretend you're A-okay when you're not. Because if you do have something serious, you so don't want to spread anything to other guests and cast members. Staying back in the hotel to rest up, maybe even chatting with a virtual healthcare provider via your My Disney Experience app when you get the chance, isn't just the best option for you, but for everybody, including your family. If you plan on hiding out at your resort for the day, or at least in the morning so you can grab some extra Z's, yet you really need some over-the-counter meds now to help accelerate the get better soon process, you can always check your resort's gift shop for some basic painkillers. Will they be slightly overpriced? Yes. Will they get the job done? Also yes. Rule number 7, know the codes. Cast members have to learn a secret language all their own. And if you know some of this language too, then you can stay informed about what's going on around you during your park day. Disclaimer, some of these things you might want to be blissfully unaware of. Consider yourself warned. Starting out with a code 101, this one's easy. It simply means that an attraction is temporarily shut down. Similarly, a weather 101 not only means that a ride has to close due to storm-related purposes, but all outdoor cast members must also find cover to get out of the heavy rain or lightning in the area. A code 102, on the other hand, is a much happier subject because it means that a ride has gone back online. Code A. All right, now we've got the tame code out of the way. Code A is a warning that cast members have spotted human ashes. You probably aren't going to hear this one often, especially since spreading ashes is against the rules and will for sure get you a one-way ticket out of the park if you're caught, but the most common location where this might happen is over at Haunted Mansion. If a guest does do this, and believe me, they will be caught, cast members will have to shut down the entire ride for an extended period of time to get things cleaned up. They basically go and vacuum up the ashes, so it's a lose-lose for everybody. Sure you want to keep going? Okay then. Code H is used by cast members when someone's had an accident, as in a number 2 accident. It happens, my friends. I mean, think of how many diaper blowouts happen in a day. On a similar note, code U means the other type of bathroom accident. Best course of action for you as a guest if you hear either code being used is to just steer clear of the area. Cast members will get things cleaned up and sanitized again, and we are endlessly appreciative of that. Now you can probably guess what a code V means. I'll give you a hint. It's most commonly used around spinny rides like Mad Tea Party in Magic Kingdom, or what we refer to as Barf Alley in Epcot, where both Cosmic Rewind and Mission Space reside. I kind of gave it away with the whole Barf Alley thing, didn't I? Nonetheless, if a code V happens on a ride, the attraction may close temporarily to be cleaned. And that's why I tell folks to never immediately panic when they see a ride is temporarily unavailable, because it could be as simple as a Little protein spill cleanup. Code Alpha is a pretty serious one. It means an ambulance needs to be called. Fortunately, first responders are located close to Disney World property, so they usually respond very quickly. If you have nothing to do with the emergency at hand, it's always best to stay back, go the other way, so responders have ample space to do their job efficiently. And a Signal 70. This is another serious code, but hopefully a code that doesn't last long. Signal 70 means a lost parent. If a child can't find their parent or guardian, a cast member will escort them to the park's baby care center ASAP, and older children usually go to City Hall. That way, lost parents can be reunited with their little ones as quickly as possible. Cast members are also trained to keep children calm and gather defining details that will expedite those family unions and help families get back to their regularly scheduled, fun-filled vacations. No family wants a Signal 70 on their hands, so before your vacation, show your kid how to identify a cast member. Namely, point out the oval shape of the name tags that they wear, and that way your kid will know they're approaching someone trustworthy and not just a complete stranger. You might also want to give your kid a tattoo phone number on their wrist if they're too young to memorize it themselves. You can find these temporary tattoos for about $5 on Amazon. Air tags can also be super useful in this sort of situation. Air tags are essentially little devices that communicate by sending out a signal to your phone to track down the exact distance between you and said AirTag device, as well as find out what direction it's located in. While these have been more commonly used to help track down lost suitcases at airports or missing keys around your house, you can now purchase necklaces on Amazon that have these pendants that'll hold on to your AirTag device for you. Then your kid can wear these pendants around the park like a necklace, which they'll more than likely want to do anyway, since many of them come with cute character designs that'll fit right in with their Disney bounding. We've seen these AirTag necklaces sold by the 4 count for just $10 online, and the AirTag itself tends to be around $25. Rule number 8, learn the character signals. I'm a naturally curious person. I'm also a naturally anxious person, so I'll admit there have been times when I'm watching one of Disney's stage shows and I've thought to myself, what if something happens to one of the characters on stage? Do they have a way of letting the crew or other cast members know? Or do they just have to cross their fingers, hold their breath, and hope for the best? Obviously, it's not something I need to be worrying about tremendously or anything, because of course Disney has a contingency plan put in place for emergency situations like this. Characters are required to learn a secret signal that they can give a nearby crew member if they're in distress and need to be escorted from the area. These signals are mostly used on stage, where the stage crew can easily see them and take action quickly and efficiently without the audience knowing. Rule number 9, clap when someone steps in a clap box. So maybe this isn't one of Disney's stricter rules, but by golly, cast members sure do their best to uphold it. When you're walking around Disney just minding your own business, every now and then you might find a random taped off square on the ground with cast members standing nearby. Seems innocuous, I guess, as normal as a random tape box in the middle of Disney can be, but if you step in it, things happen. Stepping in a clap box will trigger the thunderous claps and cheers from nearby cast members, and as soon as you step out of it, the applause stops. Kiddos really get a hoot out of this, and you know what? I do too. Being cheered on always feels good, even if it's just because you stepped in and out of a square on the ground. And if you step in a clap box in Frontierland, it might turn into a cowbell box, and you get a bunch of cowbell ringing to applaud your future day as well.
Hey friends, DFB Bria here. Your Disney pin trading pal is back, and this time I'm laying down the law, or rather the law that cast members are required to follow. When you're pin trading with cast members around Disney, either from their cork boards or from their little pin pouches around their belts, or maybe even off the side of a trash can, hey, it's been known to happen. It doesn't matter if you want like half of the pins they have to offer. Each cast member is only allowed to trade with every guest twice per day. So you're gonna have to pick and choose your 2 top priority pins and then hope and pray that you can find the others on another cast member board further inside the park or somewhere else entirely.
Rule number 11, don't leave without throwing your shoes on the tree. One special tree in Bay Lake holds a ton of history on its branches. It also holds a lot of shoes. While you're taking a boat to and from Magic Kingdom and Fort Wilderness Resort, you'll pass a lot of trees by the lake, but one tree that's over near the soon-to-be Disney Lakeshore Lodge Resort, slated to open in 2027, has pairs of shoes hanging from the branches. Nope, these aren't bizarre makeshift ornaments for the holiday season. This is the retired cast member shoe tree. Originally, the tree was the final resting place of the shoes for literally all cast members when they had their last shift, but that's a lot of people, so the tradition had to be tweaked. The tree is now only used for shoes of Seven Seas Lagoon and Bay Lake cast members on their final shifts as a way to leave their mark and say goodbye. Well, not goodbye, rather see you real soon. All right, cast members, if you're watching out there, I just want you to know that the DFB team and I appreciate all that you do so much. I know there are so many more rules that you have to abide by, and we appreciate everyone. You've done wonders when it comes to making our vacations, brace yourself, magical. And for those of you getting ready to hit up the parks as guests, get ready, y'all, because these cast members do the absolute most. I just know you're going to love them like we do. Before you head out, don't forget to grab that free Drinking Around the World guide over at disneyfoodblog.com/worlddrinks. Or if you're ready to learn more cool and slightly quirky stuff about the Disney World parks, check out our new rules in Disney World video next. Or get ahead on your Disney planning by checking out our Disney World must-dos you've never heard of. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.